a handful of games have left a mark on the gaming world, quite like Warcraft III: Reign of Chaos, a game celebrated not just for its own achievements, but also for laying the groundwork for one of the most successful video games of all time, World of Warcraft. But that wasn't the only game it gave birth to. In fact, many others would follow suit and become some of the world's most popular esports games ever. Crafted by the visionary minds at Blizzard Entertainment, Warcraft III was more than a mere addition to the gaming library. It was a bold revolution in the real-time strategy genre. Its impact resonated through the gaming world, setting new standards and expectations for what an RTS game could be. But to truly appreciate the legacy of Warcraft III, we must journey back to its roots, to the early days of the Warcraft series and the rise of the RTS genre. A time when Blizzard Entertainment was carving out its reputation in the gaming industry in its humble beginnings. The story of Warcraft and its colossal impact on the gaming world begins with the early iterations of the series, which played a pivotal role in shaping the real-time strategy genre.
Give me
the
all the
RTS
pixels.
genre, a blend of strategic planning, resource management, and real-time action, was in its early stages when the first Warcraft game emerged. This genre, evolving from the mid-1980s, was marked by titles like Herzog Zwei, Dune 2, and Command & Conquer, which laid the groundwork for what RTS would become. Each game in the genre pushed the boundaries of what was possible, both in terms of gameplay mechanics and narrative depth. But around the same time, a game would come along that would ignite a completely different level of strategy gaming.
Crazy how revolutionary right-click must have been. Or box select. Stuff that we take for granted now.
It all started with the first iteration.
Welcome to the world of Warcraft.
In the wake of the success of Dune 2 and Herzog Zwei, Blizzard Entertainment noted a surprising absence
I have never heard of Herzog Zwei.
of RTS games in the market during 1993 and early 1994. Seizing the opportunity presented by this temporary hiatus in RTS releases, Blizzard started the creation of Warcraft: Orcs and Humans. It was released in North America on the 15th of November 1994. Within a year of its launch, the game achieved a remarkable milestone, surpassing sales of 100,000 units. Its popularity continued to soar, eventually reaching 300,000 copies sold. Ooh. Thanks to its widespread appeal, the game had secured the 19th spot in the top 20 CD rankings across all categories. But what was it that made Warcraft such a hit? Warcraft distinguished itself with its innovative gameplay and storytelling right from the beginning. As players first stepped into the mystical land of Azeroth, they found themselves in the midst of an epic conflict between noble humans and the fierce orcs. This rich fantasy setting was more than just a backdrop. It was a world teeming with lore and character, captivating players with its depth. With the RTS genre on the rise, Warcraft offered...
It's kind of funny how these factions were basically like skins, right? Because the units were all the same. Same values, same function, same everything. Just the skins, and still caught everybody's attention.
But a refined, dynamic experience. It skillfully blended elements of resource management, base building, and unit control, all unfolding in real time. It was a significant shift from the turn-based strategy games that dominated the era, offering players a new level of engagement and immediacy. It also added the multiplayer option, which, at the time, started to see traction amongst the gaming community. While Warcraft Orcs and Humans wasn't the first game that offered multiplayer gameplay in the RTS genre,
Archers had 1 more range and Spearmen did 1 more damage. Holy shit, are you a nerd, dude? That's crazy. Ben to back, thank you for the prime. Was that Warcraft 1 or Warcraft 2? Because I'm very sure Warcraft 1 was all the same.
played a pivotal role in convincing a broader audience of multiplayer features in future RTS titles. The immersive experience was further improved by a variety of audio cues and voice acting, which were relatively rare in games at the time.
Yes, my lord.
So iconic.
Following the success of Warcraft I, Warcraft II was released in 1995 and built
Imagine you see this cover now.
Warcraft I, Warcraft II was released
Seeing this now, I would imagine this is uber trash. Complete trash. But I guess it was state of the art somehow.
1995 and built upon the foundation of the original, improving almost every aspect of the game. The most striking difference was in the visuals. Where Warcraft Orcs and Humans had simpler graphics, Warcraft II, Tides of Darkness, featured more detailed and vibrant art, bringing the world of Azeroth to life with greater clarity and color. The sequel also expanded the gameplay mechanics significantly. While the original Warcraft laid the groundwork with basic resource gathering and unit management, Warcraft II introduced more varied units, including naval forces, adding a new strategic dimension to battles.
The goddamn ships, man. Hate them.
This expansion of military options allowed for more complex and different strategies, deepening the gameplay experience.
Oh my god, I was
Another
right.
key improvement
Goddamn
was in the
Lathaka,
game's
strong.
storytelling and world building. Warcraft II offered a more immersive story, with each campaign mission accompanied by detailed briefings and story elements, enriching the lore of Azeroth. It builds upon the original lore in Warcraft Orcs and Humans, where the first war resulted in the fall of Azeroth, leading the survivors to flee to the human kingdom of Lordaeron. This sets the stage for the second war, which is told in Warcraft II, where the Orcs, now aiming to conquer Lordaeron, face off against the humans and their allies. Thanks to these improvements, Warcraft II hit the milestone of 500,000 units sold within just 3 months of its release. By November, this figure had more than doubled, surpassing 1.2 million units.
Damn.
But even with all the success, the best of Warcraft was yet to come.
Of course. By far.
After the success of Warcraft II, Blizzard initially set its sights on expanding the Warcraft story through a point-and-click adventure game titled Warcraft Adventures: Lord of the Clans.
Oh man, that would have been
This
so
game was
cool.
envisioned to chronicle Thrall's journey, from his upbringing in captivity to his eventual rise as the leader of his clan.
This
However,
looks like-
in a move
Is it just me because I grew up with comics and like animated series that looked like this, or does this look really good?
to
For 20 years old, for over 20 years old, over like 30 years old. This is crazy to me.
his eventual rise as
This looks awesome.
the leader of his clan. However, in a move reflecting the company's commitment to quality, Blizzard cancelled Lord of the Clans in 1998, citing that it did not meet their standards. But, luckily for us, Thrall's story would not go untold. Instead, it would be seamlessly integrated into the development of Warcraft III, which started in early 1998. The development of Warcraft III marked a significant shift from its prequels. For the first time in the series, the game was rendered in 3 dimensions, a technical leap that brought the world of Azeroth to life
So
with
beautiful.
unprecedented detail and depth. This transition to 3D was a monumental task, requiring the team to rethink and redesign every aspect of the game's visual and gameplay mechanics.
True, that was indeed Blizzard's first 3D game, right? StarCraft wasn't 3D, Diablo wasn't 3D, Warcraft was 3D.
Notably, every character in the game, even the environmental units like sheep, featured animated 3D portraits that came to life during dialogue.
That's so crazy that RTS now, when they're in development, they say we can't afford animated portraits in our game. And they did this 27 years ago for sheep.
Initially,
Nuts.
the game was envisioned as a different strategy game, tentatively named Warcraft Legends. This early concept was characterized by a limited number of units under the player's command, an over-the-shoulder camera perspective, and, notably, no base building. However, after a year of development, the team found that this approach wasn't panning out as hoped. Adapting to the challenge, Blizzard repurposed the existing framework, ultimately transforming it into Warcraft III: Reign of Chaos. But would it pay off? Central to the success of prior Warcraft games was rich lore and character development. In order to achieve the same level of success for Warcraft III, transitioning to 3D was not enough. Neither was the same level of storytelling, as competitors like Westwood Studios, who made games like Command & Conquer, were constantly improving on their games. So, Warcraft 3 introduced players to a new story complexity by creating 2 new playable factions.
That's so crazy. They just basically +1'd everything. Okay, we go from Warcraft 2 to Warcraft 3. We go from 2 dimensions to 3. Okay, we have 2 factions at the moment. We could do 3, that would also be +1, but StarCraft already has 3. And then it would be on the same level as StarCraft, but we want to go 1 more. So we make it freaking 4. On everything they did +1.
Night Elves and the Undead, each with their unique units, structures, and gameplay styles. This expanded the strategic possibilities and added a fresh dynamic to the Warcraft universe. The inclusion of heroes, powerful units with unique abilities, and the potential to turn the tide of battle added an RPG element to the RTS foundation. Add in the story of the Burning Legion's attempt to conquer Azeroth and the undead army led by the fallen paladin Arthas Menethil, and you have a narrative that was more than just a backdrop for the gameplay. But what made Warcraft 3 truly stand out was the move away from the mission briefings to narrating its story through in-game cutscenes, utilizing the game's 3D engine and employing side-view camera angles for a more immersive experience. If there's anything again...
If only that would be possible in 2025. But I guess this is like lost technology. So we don't really know how to build the pyramids, and we don't really know what to do with an RTS anymore these days.
Gamer loves. It's a cutscene that immerses them in a story, or being able to teabag an opponent. It was easy to see that the design choices in Warcraft 3 were bold and innovative, setting new standards for the genre. But only once the game was released would they know whether or not the fans agreed with their choices.
Marketing-wise, I mean, the features are all cool, right? And the game obviously plays well. I think marketing-wise, it was super genius to let the sheep explode in single player. It's so simple, but it's a memory we all have, I think. If you think back to the first time you play Warcraft, this is what was told to you. Like, oh, let's play this game, let's play this game. You can even make the sheep explode. It's very similar to, you can have intercourse with a bear in Baldur's Gate 3, I think. It's like this, a bit of chaos marketing kind of thing. It's such a simple thing, but it stands out so much. That's what everyone did super early on. It's so memorable. When the participants of Grubby's tournaments were playing through the campaign, that's what they got in chat the entire time. Click on the sheep, click on the sheep, click on the sheep, click on the sheep. It's such a core element of early Warcraft playing. Isn't that crazy? Just a little thing like this.
After several years of anticipation, in July 2002, the gaming world braced itself for the arrival of Warcraft III: Reign of Chaos, a title that was not just eagerly awaited, but destined to redefine... redefine? It's holy.
It is divine.
But destined to redefine the RTS genre. And when the game finally hit the shelves, it did not disappoint. The initial reception was overwhelmingly positive, with both players and critics praising its innovative gameplay, immersive storytelling, and stunning 3D graphics. Commercially, it shipped 4.4 million copies to retail stores, selling over 1 million within a month. This commercial success proved the game's appeal and Blizzard Entertainment's reputation for quality game development. But the game's impact was just in its beginnings, and the success it received was due to several factors. Critically, it was praised for its presentation and multiplayer features. The game's narrative depth, with its rich lore and compelling characters, offered a storytelling caliber that was unprecedented in RTS games. But what truly set it apart and launched it to legendary status were the new gameplay features, many of which would go on to become a staple in esports. For example, the game also had a new approach to resource management, particularly through its innovative upkeep system, which challenged players to strategically balance unit composition and resource allocation.
To this day, people are hating on this. To this day, people are quoting someone saying, oh, we only invented upkeep to make it lighter on machines, which is nonsense, I think, more or less. It is one of the, if not the greatest comeback mechanic to ever be built in an RTS. Ever.
Adding to this depth were the various factions and hero units with unique abilities, infusing variety and a new level of strategy into the gameplay. These hero units, evolving and gaining new abilities, introduced RPG elements into the RTS genre, offering players new ways to outmaneuver their opponents. Warcraft III also set new standards in online competitive play with its advanced multiplayer features, including anonymous matchmaking and arranged team games. This feature is now a cornerstone in many of the most popular esports games. But perhaps the most significant legacy of Warcraft III was its world editor, which enabled the creation of custom game modes. This powerful tool allowed modders to radically transform the game, enabling them to alter nearly every aspect and create new maps that diverge significantly from the original content.
Not sure if I necessarily agree that it was the most important feature. It's more like you buy a house, you buy a villa, and it's crazy. Marble floor, 3D graphics, hero system, it's all amazing, all gold, it's all perfect. The world editor is like a super nice summer house. Because nobody would use the world editor if the game wasn't great. But if you like it there, world editor keeps you in the game. It glues you to the game and makes it so after the campaign, you stay. You stay forever. You're not leaving. Why would I leave? I got everything here. So great. But the world editor alone, obviously, would be nothing without the foundation of Warcraft.
Remarkably, despite its comprehensive features, the world editor
was a house. Oh man,
accessibility.
No, it's a house 3D printer. There you go, dude. That's right. That's very true. But with the notion of you need to be introduced to the original receipt to be using that 3D printer, right?
In mind, making it user-friendly even for those without any coding experience. This ease of use democratized game design, allowing a broader range of players to craft and share their unique visions for the game. Then, the integration of Battle.net played a crucial role in amplifying the popularity of these custom maps. Through this platform, players could easily share their creations, contributing to a vibrant community of custom content. This platform eventually led to iconic mods like Defense of the Ancients, also known as Dota, and which eventually led to League of Legends, laying the groundwork for the MOBA genre that now dominates the esports scene. This user-generated content not only extended the game's lifespan, but also highlighted the potential of community involvement in game development. Warcraft III was more than just a commercial success. It was a visionary game that reshaped the landscape of competitive gaming. Its innovative features fostered a new level of strategic depth and player engagement, paving the way for the rise of esports and influencing the design of future competitive titles. But it wasn't done there.
I'd argue that more people bought Warcraft for customs than the campaign. I think you're right. Everybody who didn't buy it immediately and only wanted to play campaign pirated it. Okay, I'm not particularly interested in World of Warcraft.
Would also be the foundation upon which the World of Warcraft would be built. Nearly 2 decades since its debut, no other title has yet to rival World of Warcraft's reign as the undisputed leader in the MMORPG genre. This transition from a celebrated RTS to the most successful, massively multiplayer online role-playing game marked a pivotal moment in gaming history. World of Warcraft took the rich lore, expansive world, and intricate storytelling introduced in Warcraft III and transformed it into an immersive, living world where the appeal of the MMORPG player versus $1 billion per
WoW really
Blizzard's
good. How come you never got addicted to WoW? I was piss broke and couldn't afford the $10 a month.
Continuous updates, expansions, and improvements have kept the game fresh and engaging, ensuring that both new and veteran
Warcraft? Reforged, we don't have to listen to Reforged. No downer here. Warcraft, greatest game. Very cool summary by Nixiom. Here's the video. You know what to do. Like. Apparently, I watched this before, and I also commented on this before. I kind of forgot.